Hello, my name is Azadeh Golipour, Chief Technology Officer at Avrobio. Thank you for tuning in to hear about our recent progress. Today's presentation contains forward-looking statements based on our current plans, expectations, and beliefs. For more information, I refer you to our SEC filings, which are available on the Investor Relations section of our website. Avrobio is a clinical stage gene therapy company dedicated to freeing patients from a lifetime of genetic debilitating disease. Our goal is to develop one-time gene therapies for devastating genetic diseases and to untether patients from the significant burdens these diseases bring. In this presentation, I will highlight our unique approach as well as some of our new clinical data. We are focused on building a pipeline of first-in-class hematopoietic stem cell gene therapies targeting major lysosomal disorders, which cost the healthcare system a fortune, even though serious unmet needs still exist. In some cases, we are developing the first and only gene therapy targeting a lysosomal disorder, and in each of these indications, we are or anticipate being the first HSC gene therapy in clinic. A common theme is that each of these lysosomal disorders can benefit from an approach that has a systemic and CNS impact, which is really where HSC gene therapy is potentially well suited. Our pipeline includes 4 lysosomal disorders with 2 programs currently in the clinic, significantly aligned in 3 key ways. These are all enzyme or protein disorders that can benefit from both an above the neck and below the neck therapeutic impact with clear unmet needs. We have 2 near-term opportunities. We believe we have established proof of concept in adult patients in cystinosis, which lays the groundwork for an Avrobio-sponsored trial planned to begin in 2023. And we plan to share an update for our Gaucher program in Q4 2022. We have built a congruent portfolio with our first-in-class gene therapies, which we believe have the potential to transform the current treatment paradigm. In terms of target patient population, we estimate there are more than 45,000 patients across these indications, and that number only includes geographies where ERT is well reimbursed. For additional perspective, the Sanofi's and Takeda's collectively generate over $3 billion in annual revenue for today's stock. And there is an additional benefit for the healthcare system. The math is easy. The average annual direct cost for today's standard of care range from $450K to $800K per patient per year for life. So the 5-year direct cost, here seen in magenta column, millions of dollars per patient. Our goal is to provide a one-time gene therapy alternative to these treatments, potentially saving the healthcare system a fortune. To accomplish this, we begin with our engine, our proprietary gene therapy platform, which we call Play-Doh, designed to ensure that our manufacturing, delivery, and analytics are phase 3 ready. AVRO is committed to implementing an advanced CMC and analytics platform. I'll highlight 4 key elements. First, our process is well designed. This required very early consultation meetings with FDA and other regulators around the world. Second, we manufacture vector at scale, operating in a 200-liter serum-free suspension bioreactor. Third, we are unique in our abilities to utilize a closed, automated system as part of our designed manufacturing process. This is designed to drive down costs and enables broader production. And fourth, our platform analytics are well advanced and designed to be used across our portfolio and with regulatory considerations in mind. We believe all of these innovations translate into advanced control over manufacturing consistency. Today, I will share our most recent data update specific to our cystinosis program. The bottom line is that cystinosis impact on the body is unrelenting. Patients face multiple serious lifelong complications. They suffer from visual impairment, a dramatically shortened lifespan, and in fact, 90% of these patients require a kidney transplant at a very young age. Even today's SOC, cysteamine, reduces but does not halt the progression towards kidney transplants. Cysteamine requires frequent eye drops and dozens of pills throughout the day, which translates into challenges around nausea and vomiting, as well as body odor, which one parent described as smelling like rotten eggs. Our TPP for cystinosis is a gene therapy which is first in line and offers the potential to prevent, halt, or in some instances, possibly reverse eye complications, endocrine disorders, including diabetes, renal failure, and CNS manifestations, all with a single dose of HSC gene therapy. As is the case with many genetic diseases, early treatment is ideal to get ahead of the very serious and progressive nature of these diseases. Our collaborator-sponsored phase 1/2 clinical trial is being run by Professor Stephanie Cherqui at the University of California, San Diego. The trial has been funded in part by grants to UCSD from the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine, the Cystinosis Research Foundation, and National Institutes of Health. This is the first and the only gene therapy trial for cystinosis. 5 adult patients have been dosed in this trial, which is focused on safety and tolerability, pharmacodynamic efficacy, and clinical outcomes, which will inform the next phase of development. Let's look at the clinical data. Importantly, all 5 dosed patients are off oral cysteamine pills per the latest data update. Same for cysteamine eye drops for 4 of the 5 patients, with patient 2 resuming cysteamine eye drops last summer due to symptoms of photophobia. Now, I'm excited to share the central nervous system measures from this clinical trial shared for the first time at ASGCT this year. Early data show key visual motor integration, visual perception, and motor coordination measures impacted by cystinosis are stabilized or improved post-gene therapy, reinforcing the systemic reach of HSC gene therapy, including the CNS. Visual motor integration, or VMI, is the standardized measure to evaluate the ability of the brain to interpret and translate visual information into an exact motor response. Important to note here is that these measures do not generally improve over time in this cystinosis population. Early data from our trial indicate that post-gene therapy, the 2 patients with data to date show a stabilization of VMI scores and, importantly, improvement in the subsets of motor coordination and visual perception, suggesting a potential impact on the neuropathology of the disease. Now, let's look at the reduction in the number of skin cystine crystals below patients' own SOC baseline at more than 12 months after dosing, as shown on this slide. Patients with cystinosis accumulate cystine crystals in cells, which leads to tissue and organ damage and results in debilitating comorbidities. We see a similar reduction in the intestinal mucosa, where a measurable reduction below patients' own standard of care baseline measures were observed post-gene therapy, as seen on this slide. These data suggest the systemic distribution of functional cystinosis protein is impacting a variety of measures throughout the body, and that the protein is doing one of its many jobs, preventing the pathological buildup of cystine crystals. Let's take a look at the crystals again. An expert in the field once told us the eye is the window into world of cystinosis. And this is because a sign of cystinosis is cystine crystals in the cornea, a cause of severe photophobia. This baseline photograph clearly shows the crystals in patient 1's cornea. At the time, he, like many cystinosis patients, was administering eye drops as frequently as every hour of the day. So, what have we seen in this patient since treatment? Here are some striking microscope images from the first patient, which capture the prevalence of crystals shown in white going from the front to the back of the cornea from left to the right of the slide. Prior to baseline, the patient discontinued his frequent eye drop administration. Since gene therapy, the density of crystals has dropped dramatically. Now let's look at patient 2 and 3. Patient 2 and 3 both entered the trial with relatively lower cystine crystal accumulation in the eye and reported a stable photophobia scores both at 12 months post-gene therapy. For the first 3 patients who were dosed more than 12 months ago, we see sustained engraftment of the genetically modified stem cells as evidenced by high and stable vector copy numbers, which have plateaued at between 1 and 2.6 at 1 to 2 years post-gene therapy. Now we will move on to look at updated safety data for the 5 patients dosed. We are pleased to report there have been no unexpected safety events observed to date in the phase 1/2 clinical trial. Importantly, we have observed no SAEs or AEs related to the drug product to date and no SAEs in the trial overall. The reported AEs were consistent with busulfan conditioning and/or patients' pre-existing disease. They were classified as transient. The majority of AEs are mild to moderate, and all have resolved. And finally, let's talk about the planned global clinical and regulatory strategy for this indication. Following several regulatory milestones in 2021, we are keen to build on our regulatory momentum in 2022 and beyond. We are preparing for additional clinical and CMC interactions with regulators and have started to design our planned company-sponsored trial. There is a lot more to come on this front. We are very excited about where this is heading and look forward to sharing more details with you after we have received additional regulatory feedback. In summary, Avrobio has built a pipeline targeting disorders that we believe are well suited for HSC gene therapy approach, where a one-time treatment has the potential opportunity to dramatically change patient lives and represents significant commercial and healthcare system value. We have 2 near-term opportunities to potentially move 2 clinical programs into late-stage trials in 2023 in cystinosis and Gaucher disease. We look forward to sharing an update for our Gaucher program later this year. Our purpose at Avrobio is to free patients from a lifetime of genetic disease. Thank you.